I could never have predicted that my daughter's birthday party would result in her being taken into police custody. Yet here I find myself, watching an unfamiliar number flash across my phone screen. Ben and I are enjoying a peaceful evening meal at Richardson's, Flagstaff's most established family dining establishment, taking advantage of a rare date night while Lainey celebrates her birthday at home with friends. The soft candlelight creates gentle shadows across Ben's features as he discusses our potential weekend hiking plans for the Northern Trail. Perhaps we could prepare a picnic and spend the entire day out there, he suggests, slicing his steak. The forecast predicts beautiful weather through Sunday. My phone buzzes against the wooden surface. Unknown caller. Anxiety grips my stomach as I pause before answering. Mom. Lainey's voice shakes through the speaker. I'm sitting in a police station. Aunt Julie destroyed my phone and accused me of pushing her. Ben's complexion turns pale as he observes my expression. I clutch the table's edge until my knuckles become white. We're leaving immediately, I declare, already motioning for our bill. Ben runs through a yellow traffic light on Route 66, his grip tight on the steering wheel. We remain silent. Thoughts bounce around my mind chaotically. Police station. Lainey. Julie represents my half-sister, 19 years old and already skilled at causing chaos. She received no invitation. I whisper, speaking more to myself than Ben. I assured Lainey she wouldn't need to deal with Julie tonight. 20 minutes pass before the station's bright fluorescent lighting hits my eyes as we enter through the glass entrance. A young officer with short hair and a badge reading Palmer stands at the reception desk, maintaining a neutral expression as we approach. Our daughter was brought here, Ben states, keeping his voice controlled despite the panic I sense from him. Lainey Maddox. Officer Palmer acknowledges with a nod. The 17-year-old. She's being investigated for assault. That's ridiculous. I respond sharply, protective instincts activated. Where is she? He gestures toward metal benches along the wall. Lainey sits by herself, shoulders curved inward, clutching a plastic evidence bag, holding her destroyed iPhone's pieces. Mascara has created dark streaks on her face. Upon seeing us, she breaks down. She wasn't even invited, Mom, she says as I sit next to her, placing my arm around her shoulders. I specifically requested that you not invite her. I shut my eyes, remembering. Earlier today, Lainey and I strung lights throughout the backyard. Her carefully chosen playlist played through outdoor speakers. I watched her test each light strand before installation. Please don't invite Julie, she had said while balanced on the stepladder. She destroys everything. I looked up at her, this young woman who still carried hints of the child who once climbed our backyard trees. This is your special day, sweetheart. Julie won't be here. We had spent hours creating allergy-safe treats for her friend Mia's peanut sensitivity, plus homemade punch that required 3 attempts to perfect. Lainey's genuine enthusiasm about entertaining friends again after COVID's long separation was evident. What occurred? Ben inquires, his legal training taking control. Calm, methodical. Lainey dries her eyes. Julie arrived with Mackenzie and Talia. They brought alcoholic seltzers and portable speakers that drowned out my music. I requested they leave. Her voice breaks. I remained polite, Dad. I promise. I squeeze her shoulder. I trust you. Julie just lost control. She seized my phone and destroyed it on the brick patio. Lainey indicates the evidence bag. Then she slipped on some dried leaves and began screaming that I had pushed her. Someone contacted 911. I never even touched her, Mom. The familiar burden of family history descends upon me. Suddenly, I'm 7 again, standing isolated at my father's second wedding. Dean's dismissive introduction echoes. That's Corinne from my previous marriage. Julie arrived a year afterward. The miracle child following fertility treatments. The favored daughter who could do nothing wrong. Years of being overlooked while Julie received celebration. Forgotten birthdays, school events attended only when convenient. My silent promise at my wedding to Ben resurfaces. My children will never feel like second choices. I straighten my posture, nursing discipline taking charge. Ben, I say quietly. The Yuffie camera. His eyes widen with understanding. The outdoor security system we installed after package theft. Retrieve the footage immediately. Officer Palmer's doubt transforms into interest when Ben mentions camera security recordings. "You have footage?" he asks, leaning forward slightly. "Yes," I confirm. Our backyard security camera captured exactly what happened. For the first time since arriving, Lainey's eyes brighten with hope. Certainty builds within me, solid as stone beneath my feet. This time truth will prevail. This time I won't allow my daughter to become the family's scapegoat built on deception. The difference lies in evidence. And finally, we possess it. "I'm transmitting the security footage to Mark now," Ben announces, his voice steady while his fingers work across the laptop keys. We're gathered in a small conference room at the police station. Fluorescent lights create stark shadows on his face. Officer Palmer leans forward, arms folded across his chest. His skepticism has shifted to curiosity as Ben accesses the Eufy application on his laptop. The loading symbol rotates, each turn increasing my stomach's tension. "There," Ben says, rotating the screen. The footage displays our backyard in clear detail. String lights sparkle above teenagers dancing to inaudible music. Julie then enters the frame's edge with two girls following, even without audio. Her aggressive posture communicates volumes. The timestamp shows 8:17 p.m. Lainey approaches Julie with calm hand gestures. Julie's expression twists. She lunges forward, grabs Lainey's phone, and smashes it against the brick patio. Officer Palmer's eyebrows rise. The following sequence unfolds with terrible clarity. Julie turns, steps forward, her foot sliding on dried oak leaves. She falls backward, landing hard on her hip. Lainey stands 2 complete feet away, hands raised in shock, never approaching her sister. "This changes everything," Palmer states quietly, rewinding to observe the moment again, then meeting my eyes across the table. Silent victory passes between us. My phone buzzes. A Facebook notification. I open it thoughtlessly and feel blood drain from my face. Marge's profile picture appears above a post already collecting numerous comments. "Julie was attacked tonight by someone we trusted. Please pray for her healing." Heading to the police station now. "Ben," I whisper, showing him my phone. His jaw clenches as he reads the flooding comments. "Praying for dear Julie. This is terrible. Who would harm her? Contact us if you need support. Mr. and Mrs. Maddox," Officer Palmer says, clearing his throat. "There's additional information you should know. Julie's parents have already provided signed statements claiming they witnessed the assault." "That's impossible," I say, the words sharp in my throat. "They weren't present." As if my disbelief summoned him, my phone rings. Thomas Whitaker, our neighbor from across the street. "Corinne," he says upon answering, his voice hurried. "I just read Marge's post. That cannot be accurate. Dean and Marge were speaking with Carol and me on the sidewalk at 7 p.m. We conversed for nearly an hour about the new zoning proposal, and they departed before the incident." Hope rises in my chest. "Thomas, would you tell the police that?" "Already writing a statement," he says. "And I have time-stamped photographs from when Dean showed us pictures of their new patio furniture." While I'm on the phone, Ben's screen illuminates with text messages from 3 of Lainey's friends, each sending video clips from earlier in the party. The conference room door opens 20 minutes later. Mark, Ben's brother, enters, still wearing his hospital security guard uniform. His 20 years as a police officer before career changes shows in his confident bearing. "I came immediately when Ben called," he says, nodding to Officer Palmer. "Todd, good to see you." Palmer straightens slightly. "Detective Harrington, didn't expect you here." Mark's eyes flick to the laptop screen, then to Lainey. "Family matters. What are we examining?" As Palmer updates Mark, I find myself transported to another room, another betrayal. I'm 20, standing at the back of a small chapel, watching my father marry Marge. My grandparents had died within months of each other that year, the twin supports of my life gone. "You need to move forward," Dad had said when I called crying after Grandma's funeral. "We have Julie to consider now." Julie still developing in Marge's womb, already more significant than my grief. The pattern extends across years like shadow fingers. Julie's outbursts blamed on my negative influence. Her accusations always believed, without question. My explanations dismissed as jealousy. Officer Palmer's voice returns me to present. These false accusations could impact your daughter's college applications. There could be legal consequences if charges aren't dismissed. Ben's colleague from the law firm has texted him. Social media posts becoming problematic. Potential defamation case developing. Call me. My nursing license. I whisper, the realization striking me. If this escalates, there could be an ethics investigation at the hospital. Mark leans against the wall, arms crossed. Document everything, he says quietly. Every post, every statement, every lie. Build your case like you're preparing for battle. The door opens again. A different officer appears. The footage has been reviewed. We're releasing Lainey. No charges filed currently, but the investigation remains open. Lainey's shoulders relax with relief. Ben embraces her tightly as we collect our belongings. Voices echo from the lobby. My skin prickles with recognition. Dean and Marge have arrived. We step into the hallway just as Julie appears around the corner. She's limping dramatically, a pharmacy neck brace secured around her throat, tears streaking her mascara. Her performance would be almost amusing if it weren't so dangerous. Dean notices us first, his face flushing. Marge rushes to Julie's side, arm around her shoulders for support as we pass them in the narrow hallway. Marge leans close, her breath harsh against my ear. You were always envious of our family. The words strike like a slap. But for once, I don't recoil. I have evidence now, and that transforms everything. I simply look at her, fists clenched, and walk to the car. That night, I couldn't sleep properly. I wake before sunrise, sleep having fled hours ago, driven away by replaying images. Lainey's tear-stained face at the police station. Julie's smirk as she limped past us with her theatrical neck brace. Marge's poisonous whisper. The digital clock reads 4:17 a.m. The house sleeps around me as I pad downstairs in worn slippers. Kitchen light casts a small yellow circle across the table, where I spread my laptop, notebook, and a stack of photo albums spanning 15 years. A nurse learns to document. It becomes instinct, like checking a pulse or listening to lungs. For 2 decades, I've recorded patients' vital signs, medication responses, and symptom progressions. Now I apply that same clinical precision to my own family. The coffee maker gurgles in the background as I create a timeline. Julie destroying Lainey's phone, 8:17 p.m. according to security footage timestamp. The first Facebook post from Marge appeared at 8 p.m., claiming to have witnessed the assault. The sequence is illogical, insufficient time for Julie to have called her parents, for them to have driven across town, and then for Marge to have composed her tearful social media plea for prayers. I open my laptop and navigate to Google reviews. I could never have predicted that my daughter's birthday party would result in her being taken into police custody. Yet here I find myself, watching an unfamiliar number flash across my phone screen. Ben and I are enjoying a peaceful evening meal at Richardson's, Flagstaff's most established family dining establishment, taking advantage of a rare date night while Lainey celebrates her birthday at home with friends. The soft candlelight creates gentle shadows across Ben's features as he discusses our potential weekend hiking plans for the Northern Trail. Perhaps we could prepare a picnic and spend the entire day out there, he suggests, slicing his steak. The forecast predicts beautiful weather through Sunday. My phone buzzes against the wooden surface. Unknown caller. Anxiety grips my stomach as I pause before answering. Mom. Lainey's voice shakes through the speaker. I'm sitting in a police station. Aunt Julie destroyed my phone and accused me of pushing her. Ben's complexion turns pale as he observes my expression. I clutch the table's edge until my knuckles become white. We're leaving immediately, I declare, already motioning for our bill. Ben runs through a yellow traffic light on Route 66, his grip tight on the steering wheel. We remain silent. Thoughts bounce around my mind chaotically. Police station. Lainey. Julie represents my half-sister, 19 years old and already skilled at causing chaos. She received no invitation. I whisper, speaking more to myself than Ben. I assured Lainey she wouldn't need to deal with Julie tonight. 20 minutes pass before the station's bright fluorescent lighting hits my eyes as we enter through the glass entrance. A young officer with short hair and a badge reading Palmer stands at the reception desk, maintaining a neutral expression as we approach. Our daughter was brought here, Ben states, keeping his voice controlled despite the panic I sense from him. Lainey Maddox. Officer Palmer acknowledges with a nod. The 17-year-old. She's being investigated for assault. That's ridiculous. I respond sharply, protective instincts activated. Where is she? He gestures toward metal benches along the wall. Lainey sits by herself, shoulders curved inward, clutching a plastic evidence bag, holding her destroyed iPhone's pieces. Mascara has created dark streaks on her face. Upon seeing us, she breaks down. She wasn't even invited, Mom, she says as I sit next to her, placing my arm around her shoulders. I specifically requested that you not invite her. I shut my eyes, remembering. Earlier today, Lainey and I strung lights throughout the backyard. Her carefully chosen playlist played through outdoor speakers. I watched her test each light strand before installation. Please don't invite Julie, she had said while balanced on the stepladder. She destroys everything. I looked up at her. This young woman who still carried hints of the child who once climbed our backyard trees. This is your special day, sweetheart. Julie won't be here. We had spent hours creating allergy-safe treats for her friend Mia's peanut sensitivity, plus homemade punch that required 3 attempts to perfect. Lainey's genuine enthusiasm about entertaining friends again after COVID's long separation was evident. What occurred? Ben inquires, his legal training taking control. Calm, methodical. Lainey dries her eyes. Julie arrived with Mackenzie and Talia. They brought alcoholic seltzers and portable speakers that drowned out my music. I requested they leave. Her voice breaks. I remained polite, Dad. I promise. I squeeze her shoulder. I trust you. Julie just lost control. She seized my phone and destroyed it on the brick patio. Lainey indicates the evidence bag. Then she slipped on some dried leaves and began screaming that I had pushed her. Someone contacted 911. I never even touched her, Mom. The familiar burden of family history descends upon me. Suddenly, I'm 7 again, standing isolated at my father's second wedding. Dean's dismissive introduction echoes. That's Corinne from my previous marriage. Julie arrived a year afterward. The miracle child following fertility treatments. The favored daughter who could do nothing wrong. Years of being overlooked while Julie received celebration. Forgotten birthdays, school events attended only when convenient. My silent promise at my wedding to Ben resurfaces. My children will never feel like second choices. I straighten my posture, nursing discipline taking charge. Ben, I say quietly. The Yuffie camera. His eyes widen with understanding. The outdoor security system we installed after package theft. Retrieve the footage immediately. Officer Palmer's doubt transformed. Never once in 39 years. But this time, faith wasn't necessary. The proof told its own story. I hung up before he could reply. Something deep within me changed, like shifting ground finding new stability. Later, I discovered Lainey on her bed, gazing at the wall displaying her friend's photos in a thoughtful arrangement. Her body trembled with quiet tears. Why does she despise me so intensely? She wondered aloud as I joined her. I never wronged Julie. Her words cut deep. I had shielded Lainey from my past, believing those stories would only weigh her down. Now I understood my silence had created unanswered questions. This isn't your fault, I said, grasping her hand. It never was. I shared memories of standing isolated at my father's wedding, of forgotten birthdays while Julie's received grand celebrations, of my accomplishments being overlooked while Julie's average efforts earned excessive praise. You were the substitute, Lainey realized, clarity filling her expression. And you represent the reminder that I chose differently. I held her hand tighter. A path where honesty counts. Ben appeared in the doorway, leaning casually against the frame. His gaze met mine above Lainey's head. We're creating a new narrative for this family, he said softly. All of us together. Lainey dried her tears, raising her chin in a manner so reminiscent of my own that it caught me off guard. I refuse to be anyone's casualty, she declared. The determination in her tone awakened something within me that had remained dormant far too long. 48 hours later, Patricia's legal warning arrived with judicial authority. I observed Ben placing it into the mailbox at Dean and Marge's Tudor-style home, his expression resolute. Certified delivery, he noted, glancing at his timepiece. They'll receive it by midday. We departed quietly, morning sunlight reflecting off the San Francisco mountains. 3 matching letters, one each for Dean, Marge, and Julie, detailing the ramifications of false claims, character assassination, and property damage, each demanding immediate correction. The authorities contacted us by mid-afternoon. Sergeant Morales, leading the investigation, requested Dean and Marge clarify their original testimonies. His voice through the speaker carried a sharpness absent before. "We've examined the security recordings repeatedly," he informed us. "The sequence doesn't align with their witness accounts." Ben caught my attention across the kitchen island. "Have Julie's companions been questioned?" Mackenzie Allen and Talia Weber withdrew their statements this morning, Morales reported. Both acknowledged they were intoxicated and didn't actually observe the incident between Julie and your daughter. Tension released in my chest, the first strand of the deception coming apart. That evening, Lainey showed me her phone alerts. The Justice for Julie campaign had disappeared from local social platforms. Instead, Justice for Lainey had taken its place, with classmates sharing facts and parents offering support. "Talia contacted me," Lainey said, her voice quiet but firm. "She revealed Julie orchestrated everything. I sat beside her, our shoulders connecting. Orchestrated to disrupt the gathering and create drama. She told them I was—" Lainey paused, swallowing hard. "Arrogant. That I needed correction." Fury blazed steadily behind my ribs, not the explosive rage that consumes air, but the persistent heat of coal. Concentrated, unwavering intensity. 3 days afterward, police formally withdrew all accusations. The department released a statement regarding hasty judgments based on incomplete witness testimony. The local newspaper published a retraction of Julie's emotional interview, acknowledging the security footage disputed her allegations. Hospital leadership summoned me for a meeting. I entered with a resignation letter prepared for the worst outcome following Marge's gossip campaign. "We want you to understand you have our complete backing," Dr. Atherton stated, presenting a formal declaration across her desk. "This has been challenging for your family, and we support you both professionally and personally." The document blurred through my tears. 20 years of exemplary service suddenly outweighed Marge's boutique circle and their rumors. Ben's law firm colleagues offered complimentary assistance for the defamation lawsuit. Patricia requested an urgent hearing regarding the fraudulent police reports. Forensic examination validated our security footage's authenticity, countering Marge's frantic Facebook accusations of tampering. Then their pretense began crumbling. Dean telephoned Ben at 11:30, 6 p.m. on Tuesday. I listened to Ben's brief responses from our bedroom. "No, we're not withdrawing anything. The evidence is clear." That's something you should have considered before making false statements. When he disconnected, his expression was serious. "They want to negotiate." Dean sounded frightened. The following morning, Marge's boutique displayed a "closed for renovations" sign. Julie's Instagram became private after former friends left critical comments. My cousin Alice, silent for 3 years, left a message. "I witnessed what happened to Lainey. I'm deeply sorry." None of us challenged them previously. Community whispers spread like smoke. At the market, bank, gas station, sympathetic looks and small supportive gestures. That poor Maddox girl who was wrongly accused. The reconciliation efforts began with calculated precision. Dean's carefully crafted email arrived first, using phrases like family healing and moving forward together, devoid of genuine responsibility. Marge's tearful voicemail followed hours later. "There have been terrible misunderstandings from everyone," she sobbed. "We're family. This shouldn't divide us." Julie's text to Lainey came last. I stumbled and became confused about the events. "Can we discuss this?" We assembled around the kitchen table that evening, the messages displayed on our devices like courtroom evidence. Ben read Patricia's reply aloud. "All correspondence must proceed through legal counsel." Lainey stared at Julie's message, her finger poised over delete. "They're not truly remorseful, are they? They're just afraid." "Too little, too late," I said, the words carrying both triumph and sorrow. The security camera blinked its red indicator from the rear porch, silent observer of our family's new boundary. Not drawn in sand, but etched in stone. The confrontation. The Arizona morning sun bathed the courthouse steps in unforgiving light as I smoothed my navy shirt. Ben stood beside me, his hand reassuring at my back. Lainey walked between us, her shoulders set in a stance I recognized from my own hospital confrontations. "Remember Patricia's advice?" I whispered, checking my watch. "Answer only direct questions. No extra details." Ben nodded, straightening his tie. "Focus on facts. Let the evidence communicate." A splash of color caught my eye. Marge ascended the courthouse steps in a floral dress better suited to weekend brunch, pearls shining at her throat. Dean followed, their attorney positioned between them like protection. Julie lagged behind, notably without the neck brace, after weeks of dramatic social media posts documenting her recovery. "That's noteworthy," Ben whispered, observing the same detail. Patricia Wells greeted us at the entrance, her understated charcoal suit and modest heels conveying quiet authority. Her silver hair gleamed in sunlight as she handed me a folder. "Everything is arranged chronologically. The judge examined the security footage this morning." My stomach clenched as we entered the courtroom. All those years of nursing, of controlling emotions, yet nothing prepared me for seeing my daughter's name on legal documents. The bailiff called for order, and I sat perfectly straight, sensing Dean's stare during a brief intermission. He approached me in the corridor, his voice hushed and desperate. "She's your sibling, for heaven's sake." His eyes, so like mine, begged for compliance. "Family shields family, like you protected me." The words emerged before I could prevent them. Marge appeared beside him, tears threatening to fall. "We're discussing Julie's future, about family allegiance. She's been diagnosed with PTSD," Dean added, adjusting his tie. "The doctor states." "Stop." I raised my hand. "We both know there's no doctor." Julie stepped forward, her eyes scheming beneath the mask of remorse. "We'll replace the phone if this simply disappears." Laughter rose from somewhere deep within me. This was never about the phone. Back in the courtroom, Patricia worked with systematic precision. The security footage played on the screen, and I watched Julie's face lose color as her actions replayed in crystal clarity. Thomas, our neighbor, testified about his conversation with Dean and Marge from 7 to 8 p.m., placing them across town during the incident they claimed to witness. Patricia displayed screenshots from Marge's boutique Instagram, time-stamped posts showing her sampling candles while Julie was supposedly being attacked. Dean's Google review of Richardson's Steakhouse appeared next, posted at 8:15 p.m., impossible if he'd been at our house as claimed. My heart pounded as Mackenzie and Talia testified, their words landing like physical strikes. Julie said she wanted to teach Lainey a lesson, Mackenzie admitted, avoiding Julie's glare. She planned to crash the party and cause trouble. The judge's expression hardened as Patricia connected the timeline inconsistencies, presenting medical records showing Julie sought no treatment despite claiming severe injuries. When Patricia established a pattern of Julie's previous false accusations, I watched the judge's pen move quickly across his notepad. "The court finds no evidence supporting the assault allegation against Lainey Maddox," the judge announced, his voice cutting through silence. "All charges are permanently dismissed." He paused, adjusting his glasses. "Furthermore, this court finds substantial evidence of false statements provided by Dean and Marge Maddox. Criminal charges for filing false reports will be referred to the district attorney. Julie Maddox is sentenced to 80 hours of community service and mandatory alcohol education." The gavel struck with finality. Dean and Marge Maddox are each fined $2,500 for false witness statements. Outside, Marge's composure collapsed. "This is outrageous. You altered that footage." Her voice carried across the courthouse lawn as spectators stopped to stare. Dean seized her arm. "Marge, please. There's been a misunderstanding." Julie stood alone, mascara streaming down her cheeks. When our eyes met, something changed in her expression. "I didn't expect anyone would investigate," she whispered, the first truthful words I'd heard from her in years. I walked past them, Lainey's hand in mine, Ben following closely. We didn't glance back. A reporter approached, extending a microphone toward Lainey. "Do you have any statement on today's verdict?" Lainey paused, considering. When she spoke, her voice held none of the fear that had haunted her these past weeks. "I simply wanted the truth to be important." The weight of those words settled over me as we stepped into the sunlight, leaving the courthouse shadows behind us. 6 months later, the aroma of buttermilk pancakes drifted through our kitchen like a promise. Sunlight streamed through windows we finally cleaned last weekend, casting golden squares across our breakfast table. I flipped another perfectly golden circle onto the growing stack and added an extra dollop of whipped cream, Lainey's childhood favorite. "Mom, you're overdoing the cream again," Lainey said, but her smile reached her eyes. Those same eyes that were hollow with shock just months ago now sparkled as she worked on her new phone, the case decorated with stickers from colleges she was considering. "Excessive is the only way to proceed," I said, sliding the plate before her. "Besides, we're celebrating." Ben lowered his coffee cup and raised an eyebrow. "The college essay finally defeated?" "Not even close," Lainey groaned, cutting into her stack. "Who knew writing about yourself could be so challenging?" Says the girl who just completed 17 college applications in 3 weeks, Ben teased, reaching over to ruffle her hair. She ducked away, but not before I caught her smile. These small moments of lightness had returned gradually, like spring blooms after a harsh winter. "Actually," I said, pouring more batter onto the griddle, "Pam called yesterday. I received the promotion to nursing director." Ben jumped up so quickly his chair nearly fell. His arms encircled me from behind, and I felt his smile against my neck. "That's amazing. You deserve it more than anyone. Does this mean we get pancakes every morning?" Lainey asked through a mouthful of whipped cream. I laughed, the sound still surprising me with its freedom. "It means more responsibility and probably less sleep. But you'll be excellent," Ben said, returning to his seat. "Just like you've been through all of this." The statement hung in the air between us, not heavy, just acknowledged. We'd started calling our Sunday breakfast Truth and Pancakes after Lainey's therapist suggested creating space for honest conversation about what happened. "I actually wanted to tell you both something," Lainey said, setting down her fork. "Dr. Winters thinks I'm ready to write about everything for my personal essay. She says colleges appreciate resilience." I felt my throat constrict. "Are you certain that's what you want?" She nodded, more certainty in her eyes than I'd seen in years. "I'm calling it What I Learned from a Ruined Birthday." Kind of obvious, but honest. Ben reached across the table and squeezed her hand. "That's courageous, sweetheart." "Not courageous," she corrected. "Just truthful. And anyway, the birthday wasn't actually ruined in the end." I thought of last weekend, the rescheduled celebration we finally held in our backyard. The same string lights, the same playlist, but such different energy. Her friends arrived with handmade signs and enough cake to feed the entire neighborhood. Thomas from next door stood guard at our front gate, checking invitations with comic seriousness that made everyone laugh. The brick patio where Julie had destroyed the phone now held a fire pit where the teens roasted marshmallows and shared stories until midnight. "Speaking of truth," Ben said, "Mark mentioned Dean tried contacting him again yesterday." I continued flipping pancakes, my shoulders no longer tensing at the mention of my father's name. "And?" Mark didn't answer. Ben sipped his coffee. "Some bridges remain burned." Lainey scrolled through her phone. Grandma Marge is still posting about deepfakes and conspiracy theories, but her boutique page lost another 50 followers this week. "Your choice if you want to keep monitoring that," I reminded her gently. She shrugged. "It's actually kind of intriguing watching someone refuse to accept reality, like a case study." I thought of the support group I joined 3 weeks ago, other adults navigating family estrangement. The relief in their voices when I shared our story, the understanding nods, the whispered "me too," the permission we'd all given ourselves to choose peace over dysfunction. "Mom," Lainey said suddenly, "thank you for believing me, for fighting for me." I turned from the stove, spatula in hand, and looked at my daughter, nearly grown, stronger than I was at twice her age. "Always," I told her. "That's the truth that matters."